Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We are actually going to be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War Zombies. I know that is quite the title, but we are going to be reviewing Maschine. It's been over a month now since this game came out, so I feel like I'm pretty well versed in it. And I just want to talk about it. I'm going to go through some of my background before we get into it, so you guys kind of know where I'm coming from. I want to be completely upfront and honest with you guys about my stance and, where I'm at. And one more thing, I am thinking about streaming some, Cold War and BO3 zombies and stuff. And so I was wondering if you guys would want to see that. Make sure you comment down below and leave a like on the video if you want to see that. But comment down below if you want to see that as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'm definitely not leaving behind racing content. There's just not a ton to talk about in the NASCAR off season, so I'm gonna be putting out that frequently, probably still more than zombies. But if you want some zombies content as well, make sure you stick around. So with that being said, let's just get into my thoughts here on Maschine. Alright, so let me just give you guys my background first, because it doesn't feel right just, giving you my thoughts without you knowing my experience with zombies. So I became a big zombies fan in the summer. I didn't ever have Call of Duty until like this summer. I watched a bunch of zombie stuff, Tim Hansen, The Smith Plays, all that jazz, but I never really played COD Zombies until this summer. And I got BO3 with the whole shebang. We're talking every DLC, Chronicles, all that. So I've played all of those maps quite a bit. And then I haven't played BO4, and I actually have Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 coming in the mail right now. I'm going to get all the DLCs on those, and then I will have played every Zombies map except for, all the non-Treyarch ones and BO4, because I don't even think that's worth it, to be honest, But, so that's just my background, honestly. I'm a big Zombies fan, but I haven't been around for super long. This is my first game actually in, live time being a Zombies player. So, maybe that skews my opinion a little bit, but honestly, my thoughts on Maschine and Cold War Zombies in general is that it's really good, okay? Now, the time frame of this video is also kind of important. It's right before Season 1, obviously, and we know the modes that are coming out, but we only have one map, and we just know of Jingle Hells and Cranked. We haven't actually played them yet. But right now, the only thing that this game is lacking in is content. But even with just one map, you can play this game for a long time and not get bored, which is just an awesome thing to be able to say about a COD Zombies game. And one area where I think this game absolutely shines is its ability to cater to new players while retaining and entertaining old players, right? And this game just does an excellent job of that. That's something that a lot of games struggle with. Like, for example, the Cold War multiplayer right now is kind of in shambles because of skill-based matchmaking. They're completely catering to new players, and the old players are left in the dust. And it's ironic in a game about communism that if you do better, you still get the same treatment as the worst players. You get brought down to the worst players rather than keeping your skill level. But that's neither here nor there. In Zombies, the mode to do the bare essentials is insanely easy, right? Going into power, you open 4 doors, turn on the power. There's even like notifications on your screen to see where you have to go for the first time. So it's just an absolute breeze to turn on power. And then Pack-a-Punch is also extremely easy. Once you turn on the power, you go down, hit the 2 buttons in the power room, go into the dark ether, find the part, and come back. That sounds actually somewhat complicated if you haven't played it. It is the easiest thing of all time. It takes about 1 brain cell, right? And so just doing the bare essentials of that, opening pack and turning on power, is ridiculously easy, especially compared to other maps when you look at Zetsubo, right? So it's extremely, easy, and to set up on, but also there's tons of content. They added new currencies into the game mode. Instead of just, you have points, which you use to buy guns, box spins, wall weapons, pack-a-punch, alternate ammo types, perks, all your basic shebang, right? But then they also added salvage and high grade salvage. Now the salvage is obviously the green stuff, and the blue is obviously the high grade stuff. And you use that to, buy armor, which is a new thing. We'll get to that. And like score streaks and stuff like that, which is also a new thing, and we'll get to that as well. So there's just a lot of moving parts for veterans. And the other thing is that we have to consider is, in all honesty, I don't think it's very much disputable. Cold War Zombies is probably the easiest zombies of all time. Maybe Black Ops 4. But with Jug and full armor, you can take about 10 hits, and it's just insane. The saves you can pull, especially if you have the DIE shockwave or whatever, that is the best save me wonder weapon I think I've ever used, besides like the thunder gun. It's essentially a watered down version of the thunder gun with infinite ammo. It's kind of crazy, but you can just pull off insane saves. You can get trapped into a corner and have like 7 seconds to think about what you want to do. You can hit the ether shroud. You can just do a ridiculous amount of things to get out of it. Chopper gunner, and like that just makes it pretty easy. And you can rebuy ammo, so you never really have to get rid of your guns. This is the easiest zombies. However, it does get pretty hard. You got super sprinters starting at round 55. You got, the zombies increase in their damage that they do to you as the rounds go on. So, you can just get absolutely just smacked at like round 55 and be done in a couple hits. It does not take as much as it does on the early rounds, which is actually a really good thing, right? Because the early rounds are really easy and fast, which is good. The early rounds, they have done an excellent job in this game of speeding up. That's always been one of the things about zombies, is the early rounds really just slog on, But now with the introduction of loadouts that you can bring into the game, you can bring into a gun that'll be good until like round 10, and you can just kind of speed up stuff, and it's really easy to survive. But then as the rounds get longer, it gets much harder very quickly. But people are pulling just absolutely nuts high rounds on this map, so it just caters to all groups of people, which is honestly a very, very good thing. Now, I'm sure most of you guys know this, but this is just what I think. You should absolutely be running the knife at the beginning of the game. It one hits to round 14, which is just nuts. Fully upgraded, it can one hit to like round 70. It's crazy. And obviously that's not going to be practical on later rounds, but at least for the first while, you got to be running that knife, unless you want to get your guns leveled up, which is of course, reasonable. But if you're going for high rounds, run the knife, stay in the starting room until you get around 10,000 points, and then you're off, open all the doors, and you're good to go. Second of all, a nice thing that's good about this game is it's actually fairly balanced. There are different metas. The wonder weapon is good, but it's not even the best gun. The best gun is far and away the ray gun. If you get the ray gun, you're set, right? 8,000 damage, fully pack-a-punched, and it's far and away the best gun. However, there are other viable strategies too, which maybe there weren't on launch, but there absolutely are now. If you run one of the field upgrades, Ring of Fire, with an RPG on late rounds, it can one-hit megatons until round 40, and if you run Ring of Fire, you don't even have to reload when you're standing in it, so it's essentially very overpowered. The RPG is just going to be an absolute thing. I can't wait to run it with my buddies. I actually didn't know about this until earlier today. I tried it out in the solo game, and I'm absolutely going to love running it with my buddies, so I'm definitely going to be doing that. But, there's just different things you can run. The Gallo S12 shotgun is just nuts. Like that gun is incredible. There's just different ways to play the game, which is really good. You can kind of hold out on some spots. There's a really good high round spot on top of the bunker. There's a spot on the truck in the swamp. There's awesome training spots. The best one is in the starting room. There's just something for everybody here, and this is the best that they've started a game, I think, in a while. I said I hadn't played them, but I've known a lot about it. So let's just look back at all the Treyarch games. So World at War, that's basically a scratch. It's knocked around totem. We're not even going to talk about that. Black Ops 1, they did an excellent job, right? They had Kino, the super easy map, and when you beat the campaign, they had the hardcore map of 5. One of the hardest maps ever introduced into zombies. Black Ops 2, they had Transit. Yikes. Black Ops 3, they had Shadows, which was too hardcore for most players. Black Ops 4, they had like 4 maps. I don't even know what that is, but this, they just have one solid map that works well for basically every kind of player. Campers, trainers, beginners, veterans, all of them. It works very well, this map does. And the perk system as well is very good on D-Machine. So they changed it up. Obviously there are 6 perks with 3 different, upgrades for each one. So level 1 Jug gives you 50 health. Level 2 Jug, I think, reduces explosives, and level 3 gives you 100 additional health. So there's, perma perks basically, so you upgrade those and you can use them in every game. It is lacking a bit in content with only 6 perks and a certain amount of field upgrades or whatever. There's not a ton to do with that. Once you max them all out, there's nowhere else to go. And then of course we got to talk about the field upgrades. So the field upgrades, they're essentially the specialist of Black Ops Cold War. I think there are 5. I only run basically 2. There's Ether Shroud, which is kind of like basically anywhere but here. Or not anywhere but here. In plain sight, I mean. From Black Ops 3, where you can just kind of disappear, and they can't hit you or anything. They won't even look at you for like 8 seconds fully upgraded. There is Frost Blast. I don't know why you would run that. It slows the zombies down. Like, okay, whatever. There's Healing Aura, which is really good when you have it fully upgraded. If you want to be the medic of your team, absolutely run this. If you have it fully upgraded, you can just press L1 and R1, and your teammates will just be revived from anywhere. They won't have their perks, so it's not like Phoenix Up, but they'll just be revived. It's super helpful. Absolutely, you need one of these in your squad. Then we have Ring of Fire, which is really good for high rounds. It's more of an offensive one. All the other ones are kind of defensive. This is an offensive one where you just stand in it. You don't have to reload. You do like 4 times as much damage. It's really good for high rounds, but you absolutely have to be a good zombies player to run it. The other ones are kind of defensive. This is absolutely an offensive one. And there's one more. I can't remember what it is, but these are really good because they're small things. They're not like game-breakingly good, but they're small things that absolutely can help get you out of a pinch, and they're really helpful, and they're actually really beneficial to this game, which is nice. Specialists in BO4 are absolutely broken, and I don't even know. So this is an absolutely good addition. Another thing that we have to talk about is armor. Now, the way armor works, so there's obviously still Jug, right? And there's World at War II, or World War II armor, not World at War II. I mean, essentially, but worse. But anyway, World War II armor, I've played that game as well. It works differently than this armor. There's no Jug in that game also. So the way it works in this game is you buy one set of armor each at a time. The first one is 1,000 low-grade salvage. The second one is 1,000 low-grade salvage. And the third one is 250 low-grade salvage, or high-grade salvage. And then to refill, it's, I think, 150 low-grade salvage. So it's really cheap to refill once you get it all upgraded. And with this armor, you're going to feel like an absolute beast. it definitely makes the game easier and more accessible. It's not going to help you as much on high rounds as you would think, but it makes the easy rounds extremely easy. And I really like it. I know maybe some hardcore zombies players might not like it. They might think it's too easy. I don't. I think it works really well in this game. And I think it's implemented very well. So that's my thoughts on the armor system, to be honest. And I just have two more things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the game modes, and I want to talk about the bosses. So this is, of course, a Maschine review. You know, it's not just a Cold War Zombies review, so we might as well talk about the bosses and stuff on this map. Obviously, we have Orlov the Megaton. He's kind of your heftier boss. You absolutely have to watch out for this guy. On the early rounds, super easy. Later rounds, you're going to have a bit more of a challenge. The first one, you know, he can shoot. He doesn't do that much damage unless he does his running at you attack and just smacks you across the courtyard. That's a bit aggressive, I would say. But he's definitely a good boss. You know, he takes a lot of damage before he dies, and then after he dies, he splits in half, and then you have to kill the two halves. An interesting thing too is once you kill the first one and you kill the two halves, you'll get a key card. Take it down to Deadshot Daiquiri, put it in the machine, and then bring it back up to the bunker. And there's a spot where, you know, you can put it in there. It sucks up a bunch of zombies, and it'll discharge, and you get the die shockwave. You saw me do it earlier in this game, but I know that wasn't a very good explanation. But if you don't know, I would recommend Mr. Ralph Waffles' No Nonsense Guide. He does it a lot better than I ever could. So make sure you go check that out if you don't know how to do it. But so he's a good boss. He doesn't do very much damage. He is definitely a presence on the map. You know, even if he can't really down you that much, it definitely feels like he can, and it takes a lot to kill him. So, you know, when you get into the higher rounds, you know, they kind of just all blend together until you get a Megaton round, and then you're like, oh snap, it's about to go down. So, you know, you got to watch out for those. And the other boss we have on this map is Plague Hounds, which essentially are the Hellhound rounds from other games. And these boys are beefy, right? We haven't had beefy dogs in a long time. The BO3 dogs for sure are basically nothing. So it's kind of crazy to see kind of heftier dogs. And yeah, I actually like them. I like the bosses in this game for sure. I think they bring a needed challenge and a bit of excitement into the game. And with that being said, we're going to be talking about the last thing, and this is the only negative thing I have to say about this game, and it is the content in the game modes. I might dive into this more on a later video, but you know, we only got one launch map, which is a little disappointing. The last time we got that was technically World at War. I mean, we had survival maps in BO2, Kino and 5 in BO1. Shadows had the Giant, BO3 had Shadows in the Giant, and BO4 had Voyage, 9, Classified, and Blood of the Dead. So this is the first time we've only got one map on launch. It's not very much content, but it's a really good map, which I think kind of makes up for it. The one thing that is disappointing is with the announcement of the Season 1 game modes. I was a little disappointed. Jingle Hells doesn't sound that fun, in my opinion. You know, it's just a different game. Apparently there's no box. You throw snowballs at zombies, and it's holiday themed. But the thing is, it's already kind of holiday themed, so I don't think that's gonna do much for me. You know, it's kind of the type of thing that you'll maybe play once. And Cranked sounds okay. You gotta kill a zombie every 30 seconds, otherwise you die. Might be kind of fun to play with your friends. Again, doesn't seem like it's gonna be the type of thing that you play for super long. I watched a Mr. T Lexify video on it, and he thought that it was gonna be like, you know, competitive, which I think would have been much better if, you know, you're just trying to outlast the other guy, which I guess you kind of could do. And this game doesn't have modifiers like Black Ops 4. A lot of people think that might be coming, which would be really cool, but that's kind of all we got for that. I was really hoping for Grief. You know, I never played Black Ops 2. Like I said, it's coming in the mail, but it just looks absolutely fun. I'm a competitive guy, and I think with, you know, your friends on that game, you could just have some absolutely nuts things go down in that game mode and just make some absolute memories. So I really hope we get that. I was hoping we'd get it for Season 1 and we didn't. So I'm a little disappointed with the game modes that we're getting. But that is my full Die Maschine review. A little bit of a longer video, a lot different of a video. But, you know, I enjoyed this game. I wanted to talk about it. And with that being said, you know, make sure you leave a like if you want to see more zombies content. If you want to see live streams as well, make sure you hit the subscribe button, like the video. This took me quite a while to put together, if I'm being honest. So, yeah, I hope you guys are just having a safe and blessed day. This has been Decaf Dr. Thunder, and I will see you guys next time.